This is an amazing omnitank. This is the thing that folks have been waiting for a bit now. But he also has some of the worst written skills I have seen in this game. We're going to try to unravel all of that. Here we go. Let's look at Emblem Ike. And first off, this is the Ike we've been waiting for. Young Ike was such a letdown. This unit is not. This is amazing. I am sure Oblivion is going crazy right now. So let's take a look at this and kind of unravel what all this is doing, because we're doing good at this point. Like, Emblem Ragnall is pretty simple. We've got slaying, distant counter. We've got attack plus X, attack minus X, and X equals 25% of foe's attack minus 2. That's max of 16, min of 6. So, normally you can consider that at 16, and that comes at about right here. Null debuffs, which is very important versus Sanaki. We've all seen that. Null counter disrupt, which is important, period, but particularly against Leon. Null guard, which helps with Great Aether. Okay, all that makes sense. This is a very typical Ike weapon. This is what we've come to know and love about this unit. The reigns are very good. You've got DC. All of this is stacking up well, right? So, Great Aether. We have, and this is when things get really interesting, boosts damage by Y% of attack. Y equals number of times foe attacks times 10 plus 40. So the more times a unit attacks into this unit, the greater the damage that's going to reflect back on them. Very, very reminiscent of Engage. So then we get to damage reduction. This is first attack DR equals 40% minus current cooldown times 10. And if it's a consecutive hit, second attack onward is DR equals 70% minus cooldown times 10. Now that's current cooldown. That is the one that is actually reading on there, and keep in mind he gets a special jump. This is the part where I'm trying to condense this absolute mess of a special that takes up almost a full page. So, if the special triggers, this is what it inflicts to foes in 3 rows and 3 columns centered on Ike. After combat, everyone gets 5 damage. After combat, everyone gets pulse smoked, which is huge. That is a big, big deal for a lot of different game modes, but particularly if you're thinking about summoner duels, that can really wreak havoc on a lot of AoE teams. Then we have restores own HP equals 5 times foes in that range plus 10, max of 50%. That is a huge amount of healing that's coming to this unit. And then we get to the portion that makes everything else make sense, and that is forced desperation. So that whole thing where you get more damage the more times the unit comes in. There's an example we're going to look at here with Reinhardt, where Reinhardt comes in and attacks 4 times. That is a lot of damage coming back on Reinhardt. Same thing with the consecutive hits. Most of the time you're going to get a second hit and things are going to go crazy. All of this still doesn't stack up to the perfect omnitank though, and we're gonna get to this really weird Laguz skill coming up. But this looks like right now, without looking at anything else, this really feels like an updated Brave Ike. And if this was alone, then we wouldn't think much of this. This would be just another omnitank, and the emblem skill is fantastic. We'll get to that, but let's move on. This unit has a very synergistic kit. We just saw Defense Res finish. I would probably want to replace that with, probably Bonus Doubler is one that I'm really, really loving right now, but that's another topic altogether. Okay, now we're going to get into Laguz Friend, and the reason this is so poorly written, they've kind of written themselves into a hole where they have to write for both specials like Godlike Reflexes, which trigger before combat, and you have things like Vital Astra, which trigger during combat. They want to be able to work with both, and it's made writing these things just an absolute terror. So, first off, you get just a flat attack -5. That goes into the already attack debuffs that we have, so that's -21, which is big. Now, if max cooldown is greater than or equal to 3, keep in mind Vital Astra was just an example. It's not going to work very well with this, obviously, but 50% self-piercing. So we've got the whole Diamant thing, only he doesn't lose damage reduction. He just loses 50% of it. But he pierces the enemy at 100%. Then we have flat DR of the greater between defense or res, which is big. Flat DR is amazing, especially in conjunction with all of the other types of damage reduction, and this unit has them all. But we also get special jumping. So right off the bat, you get two cooldown just chopped off the top. That is excellent. Most likely, especially with the tempo effect that you're going to see with this weapon, what's going to happen is you're going to have one cooldown and the enemy is going to knock that off by their attack. But most of the time they're going to be attacking more than once. But you're almost assuredly proccing Great Ether with a combination of all of these things. And then we get true damage equals 20% of the greater of defense or res. That's a lot, and you're starting to see everything coming together and how amazing that is. We have a ton of different types of damage reduction, but there's one that we haven't talked about, and that's in this emblem effect. This is big. Okay, so we're gonna look at this. Enhanced Engage Special, if foe's range equal 2 and unit or foe's special is ready or triggered before or during this combat, reduces damage from foe's next attack by 40%. This is big. That is unpierceable DR because that is in the special when it's part of the emblem effect. The things you'll want to notice is that's only the first attack and that doesn't go for brave attacks. That's going to be important for other units that aren't Ike. So this is still good. This is not game breaking, which to be honest, we don't really want game breaking. We like good. And this scratches that itch. 40% damage reduction that is unpierceable is fantastic. So let's not overlook that. That's great. On Ike, you're combining a lot of unpierceable damage in the special, in this effect, in just all of this is nuts. So in conclusion for Ike, you've got a ton of different types of damage reduction, and this unit is going to be able to tank a lot. Your question should be, can this unit tank Leon? The answer is maybe. This unit is going to take not a lot of damage from a lot of different units. The problem is nothing in here stops burn damage, and that's what Leon does. So if you stack enough HP on this unit, you should be able to get by. But that means you're going to really want to pay attention to that seal and the squad B, X, and beyond. All of those that give HP and stats are going to be really important in order to boost this unit's HP as high as you possibly can. Still, I think this unit's going to be able to handle Leon. We always want to get them in a test before I say that for sure, but that is, yeah, I like this unit a lot. Also, if I missed something, leave it in the comments. I will do my best to pin or at least edit because that is a mouthful of a thing that just went on. So we just saw Laguz Friend do the special jumping. Ike got bapped. You can see 2 hits coming in and a bunch of healing's about to happen, right? Because of Great Aether and all of the stuff it does. Here's a better thing we're seeing. We only saw 7 healing there because there was no foes around there, I'm assuming. Here you get Reinhardt attacking 4 times. And normally you would see an omnitank get down this low and you would immediately think that trouble was a brewing. The great thing about all of the stuff that this unit is having. I mean, you can see the damage reduction and everything else going on, but the healing coming in after this is just huge. Like, bumps him back up to 31, and that is incredible. So I think this is a really good omnitank. He's still gonna need support, but that's any omnitank right now. Any omnitank needs a ton of support. This This is a really good unit, and you're going to want to have a one-off of all of these emblems. It is a free skill that you get on your favorites or whatever meta unit you have, and it's incredible. All right, let's take a look at the banner as a whole. And I think clearly red is one just because of Emblem Ike. Like these Emblem Heroes are amazing, and they're one-offs, and the thing that's amazing about them is it's not a skill that you have to summon for over and over again to get on your heroes. It is a hero that you summon once, and then you can hand it off to anyone you want. That is actually generous, which is a weird thing for me to say about IS, I know. Let's look at this though. So, colorless rates are still absolutely terrible, and I had a hard time picking between which was worse, colorless or blue. But blue won out as the absolute worst, and colorless is not great. Safi and Tina are interesting, but I don't think they're must-have units. If you look at red, I think this is clearly the best. I think Embla's great. I love Valencia, and we've got Ike there. This is some great stuff. Green is very good as well. You've got Camilla, you've got Sather. Both of those units are excellent, but you've also got an attuned hero there, and I am a huge fan of those. If you're looking for merges and you happen to get some Ninos along the way, I don't think you're upset about that at all. But there is a clear divide here. 1, 2, and really it should be like 5, 6. Like that is how clear of a break. If you're summoning for green or red, you're in good shape. If you need one of these units on colorless or blue, good luck to you. As far as the omnitank tier list, I could be wrong, and the top tier could honestly flip around depending on what we see. Like I am not completely sold on Ike as like a tier above all these others. Again, we have to get this unit into testing. You've seen how big these skills are. I've had to shrink the font down on these twice. Sometimes it's really hard to know interactions between all of the different things that are going on. My guess is that this is the best omnitank in the game. We'll have to see, but I've been looking at all of the pieces of omnitanks because I'm working on an omnitank guide, and this unit just does that. Like this is excellent, and he scratches all the itches, has all the things. He's great. But we'll have to see the individual rankings once we get him into testing. I'm gonna let you go there. Members, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all that you do. If you're looking at what's going on in the meta, I just did a meta report not too long ago. I'll post that here. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.